I need to update that clock. Yeah. Today is Sunday, March 8th. It is now 8:28, not 7:28. It is 8:28 a.m. Central Standard Time. I do have my phone updated, which they automatically do, but the clock on my wall is not turned forward. And so, yeah, we're starting at 8 today instead of 7. Okay, welcome to 40 Entrepreneur Drive. My name is Kenya, and yes, I'm going to do something special today on 40 Entrepreneur Drive. I'm going to read the Bible. Why, Kenya? Why? Because that's what I do. That's what I do in the mornings. But why? Because I made a resolution to myself to read the Bible every day. It's something that I had been wanting to do, and it's something that I am doing. And as of the last 10 weeks, that's what I'm doing. And tomorrow makes the start of week number 11. Holy cow! No pun intended. But yes, tomorrow makes 11 weeks that I'm reading the Bible. It's really interesting. It's a lot more than I thought it would be actually. It really is. So yes, let's see. A welcome to the people who are here for the first time, whether you're in the live stream or you're listening on the replay. I thank you very much for taking time out to listen to little old me read the Bible. That's pretty much all I'm doing. I'm reading the Bible. I don't have answers. I'm not here to teach y'all. I'm literally here to read the Bible. I have a lot of questions. I give out commentary like on the spot, like what does this mean? Why did they do that? I wonder why that happened. And if you have the answers, if you think you have the answers, or if you have some insight or understanding to it, let me know. Tell me. Tell me in the comment section. Well, Kenya, that's what this means, or Kenya, we learned about that in church, and the pastor said, or as far as I understand, just let me know. If you know something I don't know, let me know in the comment section or in the live stream if you're in the live stream. This is the Bible that I'm reading. Is the New Believers Bible Compact Version, New Living Translation. I got some other Bibles over here. Classic King James and uh, New International Version and New King James and a study Bible and a New Testament Bible. And I've even got this Bible dictionary. So I've got other Bibles that I do read from time to time, but right now, just for the sake of this live stream and my other live streams, I read this one. And the reason why is because it's a modern read, and I don't get tripped up on um, old old English type of sentences and grammar and phrasing. So yeah. Let's see. I see the Wiz is the early bird. Morning. Laverne Dorsey. Morning. Getting ready for work. All right. Have a great day at work when you get there. I'm in the book of Numbers. I'm in the book of Numbers. According to the titles that I put up there, it says Numbers 28 through 23. I gotta grab my guide. There's a guide that I use to help me through. One of my coworkers said, "You don't need no guide. Just pick up the Bible and read." Well, that works for you. The guide works for me. It helps me pace myself. It helps me read just enough. And in just a quick second, I will give you a screen share, like so. So, let's see. Numbers, yes, Numbers 28 through 30 is what we're going to finish up with today using this guide. The guide is called the Woman's Guide to Reading the Bible in a Year. If you're in here and you're not a woman, that's perfectly fine. That just happens to be the one that I downloaded. And the author, she read this after being part of a women's Bible study group, and that's why she titled it that way. You don't have to be a woman to be in here. As a matter of fact, I encourage men and women to both join in and let me know what you think about the reading and, like I said, what understandings you have, what interpretations you have. If you're reading from another type of book, another Bible translation, let me know. And so yes, let's see. What are the checkpoints? The checkpoints, as far as on the screen, giants and grasshoppers. Read about that. That's when the Israelites went into the land of Canaan, and they felt like grasshoppers compared to the giants who were in the land. The almond buds and blossoms that talked about God choosing who was going to be the leader, since the people were starting to rebel a little bit and didn't like hearing and listening and following after Moses and Aaron. So there was the blossoming of almond buds on Aaron's staff, his walking stick. The talking donkey was Balaam, um, and his donkey going off into the land of the Israelites, because King Balak uh, didn't didn't want these people taken over and wanted a curse to happen, but it ended up being excuse me, ended up being a blessing instead. And now we've got a star from Jacob's tribe. I think that was in yesterday's reading. A star from Jacob's tribe. So that sounds like some forewarning or some prophecy going on. That's all that was said. I don't think it was explained. And now, oh yeah, and female heirs. The female heirs. Can't remember whose daughters those were. We'll see in a second. Somebody's daughters at that time. They were like, well, our father passed away before anybody can get land, and we're not married, so don't leave us out. And so those were the bullet points, not bullet points, but those were some, what do they call them? Checkpoints? Checkpoints to cover for those particular readings. All right, moving on, moving on. Life of Key's in the room. Good morning, 40 fam. Good morning, Life of Key. Good morning. All right, let's get to it. Numbers. Numbers. It's so funny. It's so funny. I was at work. I guess this guy caught himself flirting. Talk about what's your number. I said 5551212. What's your number? He said 7779311. And that's all there was to that conversation. Moving on. All right, let's see. So 26, 27, or was it 24? Yes, 24, 25, 26. No, 25, 26, 27. Yes. All right, here is the recap of what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday? Let's see. Moab seduces Israel. So there was some slipping, some backsliding, and slipping up into some idol worship after some of the Israelites were mixing with the women of Moab. Let's see. Chapter 26 was the second registration of Israel's troops, because they have been through a lot since the first registration. A lot has happened. So God is telling Moses, okay, we need to take a head count of everybody again. And so they did. There was the tribe of Reuben, the tribe of Simeon, the tribe of Gad, the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Issachar, the tribe of Zebulun, the tribe of Manasseh, the tribe of Ephraim, the tribe of Benjamin, the tribe of Asher, and the tribe of Naphtali. Let's see, we found out what the results of the registration was, which was a total of 601,730 troops. Of course, we had the tribe of Levi, which are not warriors. They were the priesthood, the people set apart. And yeah, that's all that happened in chapter 26. In chapter 27, we're talking about the daughters of Zelophehad. This is talking about the female heirs. The daughters of Zelophehad. They brought their case to Moses. The Lord made his decision on it and gave specific orders. Okay, if a man does not have a son to have a son as heirs, give it to the daughters. If he doesn't have, no. If he didn't have sons, give it to his brothers or brother's sons. Anyways, there was a little familial chart to follow as far as where land should go and inheritance should go. Joshua is then chosen to lead Israel. So brother Aaron, had already died, and now it's time for Moses to die, and the Lord is telling him to choose a leader, and Joshua is the chosen. Joshua is the chosen. And yeah, that is that's the recap from yesterday. I finished up talking about Urim and Thummim because it was mentioned at the end and I wanted to know what that was. So thanks to my handy dandy compact Bible dictionary, found out what Urim and Thummim is. RR. All right, let's jump in. Oh, at Burns House is up. Good morning, sis. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the reading of Numbers. Talk about Numbers today. I am in Numbers 28 through 30 is what's going to go down today. Are you ready? I am. All right, we're going to start off talking about some daily offerings. The daily offerings. This is chapter 28. The Lord said to Moses, "Give these instructions to the people of Israel. The offerings you present as a special gift are a pleasing aroma to me. They are my food. See to it that they are brought at the appointed times and offered according to my instructions." Say to the people, "This is the special gift you must present to the Lord as your daily burnt offering. You must offer 2 one-year-old lambs with no defects. Sacrifice 1 lamb in the morning and the other in the evening. With each lamb, you must offer a grain offering of 2 quarts of choice flour mixed with 1 quart of pure oil of pressed olives. This is the regular burnt offering instituted at Mount Sinai as a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Along with it, you must present the proper liquid offering of 1 quart of alcoholic drink with each lamb poured out in the holy place as an offering to the Lord. Offer the second lamb in the evening with the same grain offering and liquid offering. It too is a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Now we're going to talk about the Sabbath offerings. The Sabbath. This is in verse 9. On the Sabbath day, sacrifice 2 one-year-old male lambs with no defects. They must be accompanied by a grain offering of 4 quarts of choice flour moistened with olive oil and a liquid offering. This is the burnt offering to be presented each Sabbath day, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its accompanying liquid offering. It looks like in verse 11 we're talking about monthly offerings. So we have daily offerings, Sabbath offerings, and now these are the monthly offerings. On the first day of each month, present an extra burnt offering to the Lord of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. These must be accompanied by grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. 6 quarts with each bull, 4 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each lamb. This burnt offering will be a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. You must also present a liquid offering with each sacrifice, 2 quarts for the ram and 1 quart for each lamb. Present this monthly burnt offering on the first day of each month throughout the year. On the first day of each month, you must also offer 1 male goat for a sin offering to the Lord. This is in addition to the regular burnt offering and its accompanying liquid offering. In verse 16, we are talking about offerings for the Passover. On the 14th day of the first month, you must celebrate the Lord's Passover. On the following day, the 15th day of the month, a joyous 7-day festival will begin, but no bread made with yeast may be eaten. The first day of the festival will be an official day for Holy Assembly, and no ordinary work may be done on that day. Now note, he says no ordinary work. So some work is permissible, but it says no ordinary work. So basically I'm wondering, does that mean any work that has to do with the festival, any work that has to do with the worship, any type of work that has to do with the sacrifices is permissible? That's my understanding. Is that your understanding? All right, let me jump back in at verse 19. As a special gift, you must present a burnt offering to the Lord, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. These will be accompanied by grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. 6 quarts with each bull, 4 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs. You must also offer a male goat as a sin offering to purify yourselves and make yourselves right with the Lord. Present these offerings in addition to your regular morning burnt offering. On each of the 7 days of the festival, this is how you must prepare the food offering that is presented as a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. These will be offered in addition to the regular burnt offerings and liquid offerings. The 7th day of the festival will be another official day for Holy Assembly, and no ordinary work may be done on that day. In verse 26, we got offerings for the festival of harvest. At the first festival of harvest, when you present the first of your new grain to the Lord, you must call an official day for Holy Assembly. And you may do no ordinary work on that day. Present a special burnt offering on that day as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It will consist of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs. These will be accompanied by grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil, 6 quarts with each bull, 4 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs. Also, offer 1 male goat to purify yourselves and make yourselves right with the Lord. Prepare these special burnt offerings along with their liquid offerings in addition to the regular burnt offering and its accompanying grain offering. Be sure that all the animals you sacrifice have no defects. Moving on to chapter 29. These are offerings for the Festival of Trumpets. I should just call today's reading a day of offerings. Yeah, that's a lot of offerings. Ooh. Something else is going on in chapter 30. We'll get there. Chapter 29, offerings for the Festival of Trumpets. Celebrate the Festival of Trumpets each year on the first day of the appointed day in early autumn. You must call an official day for Holy Assembly, and you may do no ordinary work. Got a little star here. Let me look down in the postscript. I think I've been missing my postscripts lately. The Festival of Trumpets, let's see what they're calling it here. So in the ancient Hebrew lunar calendar, this would have occurred in September or October, and we would know this today as Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is what they're referring to right now as far as the Festival of Trumpets. Okay, moving on. On that day you must present a burnt offering as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It will consist of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. These must be accompanied by grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. 6 quarts with the bull, 4 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs. In addition, you must sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering to purify yourselves and make yourselves right with the Lord. These special sacrifices are in addition to your regular monthly and daily burnt offerings, and they must be given with their prescribed grain offerings and liquid offerings. These offerings are given as a special gift to the Lord, a pleasing aroma to him. And now for the Day of Atonement. This is verse 7. Offerings for the Day of Atonement. 10 days later, on the 10th day of the same month, you must call another holy assembly. On that day, the Day of Atonement, the people must go without food and must do no ordinary work. So we're talking about some fasting here. You must present a burnt offering as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It will consist of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. These offerings must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil. 6 quarts of choice flour with the bull, 4 quarts of choice flour with the ram, and 2 quarts of choice flour with each of the 7 lambs. You must also sacrifice 1 male goat for a sin offering. This is in addition to the sin offering of atonement and the regular daily burnt offering with its grain offering and their accompanying liquid offerings. In verse 12, it looks like we got offerings for the Festival of Shelters. I don't think I've heard of this one before. 5 days later, on the 15th day of the same month, and let's look down in the postscript, see what they're talking about. The Festival of Shelters, also known as the Festival of Booths or the Festival of Tabernacles. This was earlier called the Festival of the final harvest, or the festival of the ingathering. Nowadays, we would know this as Sukkot or Sukkot, the Jewish holiday Sukkot or Sukkot. All right. You must call another holy assembly of all the people, and you may do no ordinary work on that day. It is the beginning of the festival of shelters, a 7-day festival to the Lord. On the first day of the festival, you must present a burnt offering as a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It will consist of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs. So they doubled the amount of lambs, and they did 6 times as much of the young bulls, because usually it's just 2 young bulls. But for the festival of shelters, for Sukkot, it's 13, and instead of 7 male goats, instead of 7 male lambs, it's 14. All right. On the first day of the festival, you must present a burnt offering as a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It will consist of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings must be accompanied by a grain offering of choice flour moistened with olive oil. 6 quarts for each of the 13 bulls, 4 quarts for each of the 2 rams, and 2 quarts for each of the 14 lambs. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering, with its accompanying grain offering and liquid offering. On the second day of this 7-day festival, sacrifice 12 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and liquid offering. On the third day of the festival, sacrifice 11 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and liquid offering. On the fourth day of the festival, sacrifice 10 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering, with its accompanying grain offering and liquid offering. On the fifth day of the festival, sacrifice 9 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and liquid offering. On the 6th day of the festival, sacrifice 8 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering, with its accompanying grain offering and liquid offering. On the 7th day of the festival, sacrifice 7 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offerings with its accompanying grain offerings and liquid offerings. On the 8th day of the festival, proclaim another holy day. You must do no ordinary work on that day. You must present a burnt offering as a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It will consist of just one, young bull, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice one male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and liquid offering. You must present these offerings to the Lord at your annual festivals. These are in addition to the sacrifices and offerings you present in connection with vows or as voluntary offerings, burnt offerings, grain offerings, liquid offerings, or peace offerings. So Moses gave all these instructions to the people of Israel as the Lord had commanded him. The whole time I'm reading this, I'm thinking to myself, that is a lot of sacrifices. That's a lot of animals. We went from let me see. So that's 7 days. 7 days of sacrifices in addition to like the regular burnt offerings, right? So that's I mean just the bulls by themselves. We had hold on, because I don't know if anybody else is keeping count, but I'm just curious. Like that's a lot. Okay, where is the calculator on this phone? Hmm. I don't have a calculator on here. This is my new phone, you guys. Don't give me a hard time. I don't think I've ever actually used the calculator, so I don't know where it is. Um, let's see. That's funny. Is it not here? They want me to download a calculator, but there's actually not a calculator on here. All right, how about this? I got one on my computer. I'm gonna use that one. On the seventh, on the eighth day, no ordinary work, just doing the burnt offerings. But on the seventh day, that's 7 bulls. On the sixth day, that's 8 bulls. Oops, let me go back. 7 plus 8 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9, right? Because there was 9 on the fifth day, 10 on the fourth day, plus 10. Good morning, Katatin Cooking Mama's Homestead. Let's say that right this time. I did. I'm using my calculator to count up these sacrifices. There was quite a few in the book of in chapter 29 here. Was it plus 11? 11 on the third day, plus 12 on the second day, plus 14 on the first day. Yeah, that's 71. That's 71 bulls just for what is this? Sukkot? 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 Not including the lambs, not including the goats, not including the rams, just the bulls. 71, that is a lot of offerings. Now, I do have to keep in mind that the number of people is 601,700 and who knows what, I don't remember. Let me go back real quick. 601,730 troops, not including men and women, women and children. So there are quite a few people, but that's a lot of animal sacrifices. And I was thinking about like how many sacrifices there were because I'm thinking like with all these animals being put up for offerings, does this put the people in a pinch where like they have to actually depend on the Lord for more? Or is it so many animals that really giving is like an easy, natural thing for them to do without like feeling like it's a sacrifice? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it a real sacrifice? Are they feeling feeling the pinch after all those sacrifices, or are they okay? I'm just wondering, like, with that amount of people, I'm sure there were quite a few flocks and herds, but that's a lot of, and it's only once a year. That one is just a once a year, but that's a lot of offerings. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I had to do that. All right, that was chapter 29. That was chapter 29, talking about the offerings for the Festival of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, the Festival of Shelters, also known as Sukkot, and the other one was Rosh Hashanah. Did I miss anything else? Oh, I think one of those was Yom Kippur. Yeah, I think the Day of Atonement, that one was Yom Kippur, so I didn't mention that one. All right, moving on to chapter 30, talking about laws concerning vows. Chapter 30. Then Moses summoned the leaders of the tribes of Israel and told them, "This is what the Lord has commanded. A man who makes a vow to the Lord, or makes a pledge under oath, must never break it. He must do exactly what he said he would do. If a young woman makes a vow to the Lord or a pledge under the oath while she is still living at her father's home, and her father hears of the vow or pledge and does not object to it, then all her vows and pledges will stand. But if her father refuses to let her fulfill the vow or pledge on the day he hears of it, then all her vows and pledges will become invalid. The Lord will forgive her because her father would not let her fulfill them. Now suppose a young woman makes a vow or binds herself with an impulsive pledge and later marries. If her husband learns of her vow or pledge and does not object on the day he hears of it, her vows and pledges will stand. But if her husband refuses to accept her vow or impulsive pledge on the day he hears of it, he nullifies her commitments, and the Lord will forgive her. If, however, a woman is a widower or is divorced, she must fulfill all her vows and pledges. But suppose a woman is married and living in her husband's home when she makes a vow or binds herself with a pledge. If her husband hears of it and does not object to it, her vow or pledge will stand. But if her husband refuses to accept it on the day he hears of it, her vow or pledge will be nullified, and the Lord will forgive her. So her husband may either confirm or nullify any vows or pledges she makes to deny herself. But if he does not object on the day he hears it, then he's agreeing to all her vows and pledges. If he waits more than a day and then tries to nullify a vow or pledge, he will be punished for her guilt. These are the regulations the Lord gave Moses concerning relationships between a man and his wife and between a father and a young daughter who still live at home. What types of vows were these? I'm thinking back to I'm thinking back, maybe was it earlier this week or was it last week when I learned about the Nazarites, who for a certain period of time made a vow to the Lord to live a certain way and to restrain themselves from eating or drinking certain things or even from cutting their hair. And this was for men and women as well. So are these the types of vows that we're talking about? Or I'm just curious. If anybody knows or has insights into what type of vows these may have been, let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Laws concerning vows. I wonder, are these like fasting vows? Like, Lord, for this amount of time, I'm going to fast and I'm just going to um, try to live as righteously and perfectly as possible. I'm going to give up this particular thing. I don't know. Like, what type of vow would that be? I feel like I need some historical reference to this. I'm gonna check my dictionary here really quick to see if it says anything about vows. But again, if you guys know, let me know. Otherwise, that is that's the reading for today. It looks like there is a passage in this compact Bible dictionary, Nelson's compact series, for vows. So let's see what's going on with the vows, because I'm like, why is that in there? Vow, a solemn promise or pledge that binds a person to perform a special act or a specified act or to behave in a certain manner. The first mention of a vow in the Bible is of Jacob at Bethel, talking about Genesis chapter 28, verses 20 through 22, and also in chapter 13 and verse 13. Other people who made a vow are Jephthah, and this is referring to Judges, chapter 11, verse 30 through 31 and 39. Let's see, Hannah, don't know who Hannah is, but she made a vow in 1 Samuel 1 and 11. Looks like David made a vow in Psalms 132, verses 2 through 5. And Absalom made a vow in 2 Samuel 15, 7 through 8. It says here in the New Testament, the Apostle Paul, probably at the end of a 30-day period of abstinence from meat and wine, had his hair cut off at Cenchrea, for he had taken a vow. That's what it said in Acts 18 and 18. The vow that Paul had taken may have been the Nazarite vow. See, that's what I was thinking. As talked about in Numbers 6, 1 through 21, Samson was an Old Testament hero from whom the Nazarite vow was taken before his birth. And that's referring to Judges 13 and 5, 16 and 17. All vows were made to God as a promise in expectation of his favor. And this is referring to Genesis 28 and 20, or in Thanksgiving. So you give a vow for a promise or in thanksgiving for his blessings. That refers to Psalms 116, 12 through 14. Vowing might be a part of everyday devotion or the annual festivals. Vows had to be paid to God in the congregation at the tabernacle or temple. Vowing was voluntary, but after a vow was made, it had to be performed. Vows, therefore, were to be made only after careful consideration and in keeping with what pleased God. Sinful people do not know what will please God. They need God's direction in making vows. Vowing is joyful worship in faith and love, often associated with the proclamation of God's salvation. For this reason, deception in vowing is an affront to God and brings his curse. That refers to Malachi 1 and 14. Wow, this little handy dandy dictionary is pretty cool, huh? Because I was really wondering, like, what's up with these vows? The only vow that I know of is when a man and woman get married and they make a vow to each other. So I didn't know that you could make a vow to God. Interesting about relationships. Relationships between people, relationships between God and people. Very interesting indeed. On that note, shout out time, because I'm done. I'm done reading. That was Numbers 28, 29, and 30. Shout out to the Wiz, who was the early bird in the room, and also Laverne Dorsey, and also Life of Key, and also at Burns House, and also Katatin Cooking Mama's Homestead. Thank you so much to my people hanging out with me in the live chat. And for anybody listening to this on the replay, I also appreciate you listening as well. If you got something to say it. Let me know in the comment section. What did you get from today's reading? What understanding or interpretation did you get? Did you know what a vow was? If so, let me know. Have you ever made a vow? I've never made a vow to God, as far as I know. I don't think. I mean, is a vow the same as a promise? Interesting. Let me know that in the comment section. I got one more message that just popped up. May God bless you. Enjoy your day. Thank you. I will take that blessing. I will take that blessing. And while I have it, I will say, thank you, Lord, for your blessing. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice. Rejoice and be glad in it. Lord, thank you today for today. Thank you today for today. I don't know what's going to happen today, but I thank you anyway. And thank you for the time to read your word and to understand and learn more and more about you. I pray that all who hear the readings are inspired to learn on their own and research on their own and study on their own so that they can get to know you as well and live by your law and become closer to you. On that note, amen, amen. I'm out of here. No, it's supposed to go. I was trying to do it like my hair. Anyways, on that note, I'm out of here. It's Sunday. It is officially 1 hour forward. So if y'all ain't checked your clocks, check your clock. The phones usually do it automatically, but check your clocks around your house because, yeah, I'm looking at a clock that is 1 hour behind right now. So I got to go do that. Check your clocks. Have a great day. See y'all tomorrow morning. In the morning. Sounds like an old song or something. Anyways, ciao. Entrepreneur Drive 40, Entrepreneur Drive. Entrepreneur Drive 40, Entrepreneur Drive. Entrepreneur Drive 40, Entrepreneur Drive. Thanks for watching, share, like, and subscribe.